I brought you a 4-stroke weed whacker and a
cool.
2-stroke. 2-stroke was an accident. I thought they were both 4-stroke.
So these were just in the pile too, and you
Yeah.
just kind of grabbed them, so you have no idea what's going on with them.
No.
I have one 4-stroke one. Which one is it? This one? Yeah.
That's a 2-stroke.
There we go.
So happy I'll bring all kinds of 4-stroke weed whackers.
Nice. I have one, but it's missing some of the. Yeah, actually, it's missing this whole cover right all together. So even if this one does not become a will it run, that'll make the one that I have stop me burning my arm.
There you go. Perfect.
Hey guys, and how's it going? So that is the weed whacker that came from a dump. I have no idea, no history behind it, why it was thrown out, what the problem is with it. I do see it's missing the head off the top of it. There's no string trimmer on the end. Possibly that was what failed it and somebody threw it away. Not quite sure. What I like about it, it's a 4-stroke. Most of the time they're little 2-stroke engines. This being a little 4-stroke with little tiny valves and all kind of cool stuff in it. I thought I'd have some fun. We could take it apart, either figure out why it was thrown out or possibly fix it. Having said that, in my stash, I also had another one. I used this one for a little bit. It was missing the cover over the end, this plastic cover. And that's part of the cooling capacity of it. Again, it was missing. I ran it without it. Now it seems like it does not have any compression. So possibly between the two of them, we can kind of make something out of them, or we're just gonna have fun and tear them apart and figure out what makes them tick. We go get the one that we got most recent in the vise. We'll start getting into it, see what happened, and have some fun. One unfortunate thing about the dump is they have to get all the fuel out of them before they're allowed to throw them away. They got to drain them all out. So we don't get a history. You know, does the gas smell bad? Does it have water in it? You just don't know. This is a little crankcase. We should have oil in it, which seems like we do. Let's go give her a couple of tugs over real quick. Got a weird pull start. Check it out. Kind of feels like it winds up. And then it, at the last moment, kind of accelerates it instead of being a regular one, just tud on the pull. But it has compression. Let's go see if it's got spark. These small engines, I think they're probably around 25 cc's. Not much to them. I would say the piston's probably about the size of a quarter. Maybe a little bit bigger than that. At one point I wanted to grab a couple of these. I wanted to make a little project out of them, have some fun, and see if we can, you know, possibly join a couple of them together or do something along those lines. Wanna pop the valve cover off while we're here? Let's get the plug out first. We'll see if it has spark. That's tiny, huh? So we'll give her a couple yanks on that, see what we get. Let's go kill this light. No spark. And the switch is in the off position. I mean the run position. Oh, that's an issue right there. All right, let's go and see if we have any kind of grounding issue first. So the mag is probably going to be right above this cover right here. But sometimes the wire gets yanked out or grounded out also. Yeah, let's go. We were going to have to take it right apart to get that cover off. Let's see what there is to getting this separated from here. That looks to me that we can loosen up this, maybe this throttle assembly, slide it down, and we can take a couple screws out of here. This will slide back and possibly get to those and get everything just to slide back. I'm not sure how the engine is attached to the shaft. I would think there would be like a pinch collar somewhere in here. Let's go find out. Maybe Maybe what we'll do is we'll actually split this one. We'll take the trigger right out of it, see if possibly it's just grounded up there. Plus you want to see what it looks like inside too, don't you? I would figure it just has a cable that goes up to the throttle like a bicycle cable. Yeah. So I would think it probably grounds itself out. I don't know if the switch is any good or not. What we could probably do is just unplug one of the wires. See if we can get the switch to pop out. Let's just unplug one of the wires. And we'll see if spark returns. The other thing too, the plug itself can be bad. Try that again. I see a very light, there's a very light spark happening. Let's go swap that plug out real quick and then check that. I'll take the one out of the other machine. We'll see if it's got spark, and then I'll plug that switch back in and see if it returns itself. And I'm just going to show up without turning all the lights off. We'll give it a shot. You can see it. It's got spark. Let's go plug that switch back in. We'll try it again. And it still has spark. Either I missed it on the first time, or I wonder if possibly only one of them has a guard on it. If it was touching on the shaft. I don't see any other breaks in the wire where it was rubbing through, grounding out. What about right there? Right there, it looks a little crushed. See it on the black one anyway? I would think it would be on the red wire though. The other one would be open. I could have just missed it altogether and it had spark to begin with. I don't think so. I thought it was looking pretty much like it didn't. Let's put a little bit of fuel down the spark plug hole. Give her a pop, fire it up, see if she'll, well, see if she'll fire up. Let's see what we get. Not gonna need much. It's probably overkill. Yeah, that pull start's weird, huh? It kind of like winds itself up and then goes. Like it's not doing anything yet. And it feels like like you're winding up a spring. And we want no choke. Sounds like it wants to go. Yeah, she'll run. Quiet, huh? All right, let's, more than likely, I would think it would have some carb issues. Either they threw it out because the engine had a problem or that head had an issue. And again, it's missing. Either they stole it for another machine or after they threw it away, they just took it off of there. Let's go put some gas in it. We'll prime it up and we'll just see if she'll run. Some 4-strokes still use premix. This one does not. And I think the difference is some will still use the bottom of the crankcase as it's unlubed or no oil bath for the crank, so it still works the same way as the 2-stroke does. I haven't seen any of those. A friend of mine has just told me that they do make some of them though. We got some gas in. This is premix. It's not going to hurt anything. But we'll see if the primer bulb will fill up. There it goes. It's filling the lines. All right. Let's go give her a couple yanks, see if it stays running. Let's just try it with no choke and no throttle. give her a little bit of gas. Is the throttle even working? Yeah. Didn't like that. That might be just what was left over from what we primed it with earlier. Yeah, she'll run. We'll let it warm up a little bit, see if it'll not have any flat spots. Pretty quiet. Spinning away. The wrong way. Yeah, low wheel idle. How slow will it go? That's pretty slow for a tiny motor. See if it'll rev up. I missed it. Actually does pretty good, especially if I want to use it for some kind of project. We get it to go again. Let's see if we can pop the valve cover off while it's running. Look how tiny they are. See if you get any oil coming to the top. What a cool little engine. It's only 25 cc's. I don't know what the horsepower is. Maybe it makes 1 horsepower. And you know that piston's only about that big. All right, so we kind of know what we got on that one. It's a good runner. Carb seems like it's fine. And other than probably the string head, that's more than likely what it was thrown away with. Thrown away for. Let's go take a peek at this one. This is the one that has no compression. My guess is it probably just has a tight exhaust valve. Let's go screw with this one a little bit and see what this one does. I got them swapped around. Let's go see if this one has spark. That's a no. This is the spark plug that is out of the other machine too. I am seeing nothing. Go try swapping those plugs out real quick. Let's go pop that one out. It's definitely a known good one right here. It's still hot from running. I see. It started out with nothing. The more I'm kind of giving it, it's giving a light little white spark is happening. I should probably kill the lights. Let's see if we get anything now that we can see. I don't know. I swear both of them did not seem like they put out much on the first couple of yanks. Maybe it's just, I don't know. I think I should do the same. We'll give it a little bit of fuel. Very little. And we'll get this one. I'm pretty sure this one was having an issue with compression though. And choke is open. Well, feels like it's got something now. There she goes. I don't think there's any gas in this one. Let's go throw some in this one. We'll see if she'll stay running. And I would kind of expect this one to have problems because they said it ran with no guard over it. And this was a free pile on the side of the road kind of machine. I do not see it priming the line though. The fuel lines are not filling up. So it's either got a broken fuel line down in the gas tank and it's not able to draw, or the carburetor is screwed up. Yeah, you hear it stuck in there. Sometimes the fuel line gets so rotted, it'll literally just fall off inside the tank. The the weight, the filter there is on the bottom of the tank kind of holds itself. Let's go get something to go poke in there. Go grab that. If you look down there, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So no matter how you turn the machine, its weighted filter, it kind of always wants to stay down in the fuel, even if you turn it on an angle. But sometimes they break right off. It's a little fishing. Well, it's still on there. Sometimes they'll even crack though and just suck air, but that is definitely down inside the fuel. So my feeling is it's probably got a problem inside the carburetor and that. There it goes. Now it decides to go. You can see it. All right, let's try it. I'd say we probably need some choke. Actually, it's missing. That is missing. We'll fix that with a thumb. Seems like plenty of play on that one. Yeah, both got a decent amount. Gotta get it to where they're not on the cam. How tiny is the camshaft in this thing, huh? Must be puny. I don't know why it didn't have compression. What was, maybe there was some crap underneath the valve. And it's not much to hold them. That exhaust valve feels a little, possibly the exhaust valve is a little on the tight side. Well, having said that, we know they both run. I don't know. I'm in the explorative mood. How about you? Want to take one apart? See what the pieces are inside? Let's go do... The other one's probably in better condition. Let's go do this one. We'll take this one apart. Nothing wrong with seeing how things work, right? It didn't cost us anything. Both of them got thrown out. Get that gas tank right off of there, and then we'll drain the oil out of the crankcase, and probably that'll be our access to it. Remember, the dark fuel line was higher up. Well, I see one screw probably locks into a tab down below. Yeah, this locks in right there. Get that out of our way. Let's go get ourselves a little pan. We'll drain the oil out of it. Bet you it holds about 1 ounce. And a whole, I think 1 ounce is generous. I know on 2 strokes, a lot of times you'll have a problem. The muffler or spark arrestor gets clogged with carbon. I wouldn't think this would have that problem because they're just, you know, much cleaner burning machines. They're not pushing oil through the system, and on a 2-stroke you're burning the oil off, and of course it leaves deposits on the way out, and it clogs the exhaust. Like, you don't know if you can see it down here, just barely, right? There's a little filter that's down there, a little screen, and the mufflers will get clogged up, and you'll have a 2-stroke. It'll kind of run, but it won't rev because it can't get the exhaust out. A lot of times that's the issue with those, especially if they start running, let's say poorly. If people start running with them with a choke partly on, will cause that. We think we're going to find in here a crankshaft that's like the size of a pencil. I wonder what the cam's got to be. I wonder if they kind of incorporate it off of the crankshaft in some fashion. We're going to find out right now, right? One more. And ready for the reveal. So, what? It's got a big counterweight. It looks like just a pressed. Looks like a. Let's go spin it a little bit. Little pressed crankshaft, little stamped pieces of steel, huh? So where is the cam? What's the cam running off of? I wonder if the cam is inside here. I don't see any little push rods coming up. All right, so the push rods are, yeah, the push rods are towards this direction. Hey, check out that crank. It's just a bunch of pressed steel put together. Little dipper dips down to the oil and splashes the oil around. All right, well, how else can we get apart and see a little bit further? I see. Looks like screws right there splitting that half and that half. So we'd have to get the muffler out of the way. I still don't know if we need to take it off the case yet, but yeah, I'm curious what it used for a cam. Maybe there's like a disc, 2 discs inside here, the little tabs on them, or one, and it hits one cam, one valve than the other. What's your thoughts? Right, let's go digging a little further, see what we find. We're gonna go take these guys off, see if we can get a little bit of room and access to that hardware. I think that's where it's coming from. Right? Doesn't that look like it goes up into there? Get them out of the way. We're in. Let's go tilt that towards us. What are they? Get a little light on it. Yeah, that's just those 4 screws. Let's get the carb off the other end. Yeah, so the push rods are going right there, which lines up to whatever's inside there. I still don't know if we'd be able to see. Actually, we should, yeah. Because it'll probably open a little cavity right down inside there. That little crankcase breather going through the cover. That's what it looks like, huh? There we go. Kind of wanted to fire it up without that exhaust on there to hear how it sounds. Let me get that cable out of there. I think just pull that tab away. I think that just pulls away and it'll come up. There it goes. Alright. So we got those 4. And what's going to happen, the piston's just going to pop right out, right? And then the connecting rods, the push rods rather. I don't know if we should take the push rods out from the top. I guess it's not really going to matter. Let's go see, we'll stand it back up. And we'll get those 4 screws out. See if you can lift the cylinder right up off of it. Is there a spring or something? There's a spring maybe. Everything might make a noise. Yeah. There's a spring in there. I think it's for that pull start that we were screwing with earlier. Wow, boy, it's tight. That I believe is Loctited. I wonder what purpose we could use these for. Kind of my thought a little bit was if we take 2 of them, we tie them together. A little 50cc 4-stroke. Put it on a bike. Be legal. I'm willing to bet that it's probably glued on or Loctited. I know the screws are Loctited. You can see it on them. The difference between the 2 of these, one's a straight shaft, one's a curved shaft. I think straight shafts are kind of worth a little bit more. All right. You just pull straight up. There you go. Something just made noise. The rod's falling out. has got to be about the smallest piston I've ever dealt with. Check out the little rockers. See if we can get that out of there. The magnet grabbed it. It doesn't look like it pushes any oil to the top. The rods are solid. Generally, push rods have a hollow tube in it, and that's how it feeds oil to the top. That's why it wasn't getting any oil up inside there. Yeah, it looks like it's got a gear. Let's see if we can spin it over. So it's using just one lobe on the camshaft. There's not two separate lobes, there's only one. You see it? Get a pointer. Yeah. Well, that's the cam right there. It's got better light to it. And just two rockers off of it. There it is, now you can see it. All right, get that out of our way. I will leave that one on. I'll be able to do this one. The piston's going to bind on me in a second. I like how it's all the normal stuff that you would see. Two regular compression rings and an oil ring. They don't look like they're keyed anywhere. It's so small. And there's the magnet. This is the coil that makes spark. And the magneto. What all holds that to this? Again, I think like we talked about earlier, we can kind of pull this stuff away. And it probably comes off of there. Too bad it doesn't have a clutch built into it. Like some weed whackers have a clutch, you rev it up and they grab them, they take off. This one's just direct drive. It'd be cool if they weren't. We could have, you know, worked with that and made something out of it. Want to dig a little bit more? What else can we do? Let's go look at the valves. Let's see if we can get it under the light. Look how tiny they are, like nails, like two little tiny nails. Let's go see if we could pop one of those out of there, or both of those out, and take a peek at them. I guess we could probably just do it with our fingers. Man, it's tiny, huh? Wow. It's got some hours on it. Got some crud built up on the stem. Was that the intake or the exhaust? That was the intake side. So that's the clean side. Look at the crap that's on the back side of the valve. Let's get the other one out. So you know that one's intake. And this should be the cruddy one because this is the after. Not bad though. What if it has any kind of guides or anything? Do they even bother with any of that? Or is it just right bored into the aluminum? I think it's just bored into the aluminum. Let's go put a light behind it. Let's go put a light down at first. Well, it's got a little, it would have to have a stainless, not stainless, a hardened seat there in there. I don't know if the light's getting you. It's a little better. Yeah, it's got a hardened seat. Bore looks pretty good. I don't see any beat upness or scratches. This is the one that ran with no cover too. It's pretty polished. Not quite sure what this metal piece is down below. What does that do? Does it hold the seat in place? You want to take one of those apart? Let's go pop one of those out. See what that bottom does. See if that's holding something in. I don't think so. It looks like it's all one piece, right? Well, maybe they pop out of there. I don't think so, though. There goes my valve adjustment. I don't think it does much. No, it is. I think it's just a guide for the push rod. You got to figure this whole apparatus is made for like the cost of $1. You know, what do these things sell for new? 80 bucks? 100 bucks? Pretty much throwaways. Yeah, that was just a guide. Nothing's holding that in. I didn't think so. They probably just press little seats in on the bottom. Yeah, not much to it. I'm surprised there's no, I guess, you know, it's not like the longevity is that important. How much oil does get to the top up here? Was there anything that flung it? Well, it's got the gear. Maybe that's what it does. So maybe that gear right there flings oil up into that cavity. Right up into there, and it kind of just maybe splashes it alongside the two push rods. They probably got a decent amount of play in them, right? Let's go grab one. Let's see what they got for room. Oh yeah, there's plenty of room around them. Probably uses half the diameter. So yeah, that's what it does. To get oil up there, just splashes it from the gear. What do you think? Probably a little bit bigger than a quarter. Let's go grab a quarter and get an idea. Good idea to give you a scale too. Yeah, bigger than I thought. Let me say more like a $50. Well, now that we know what makes it tick, I say we throw it back together and we'll leave the that's upside down. Leave the muffler off. Get the cobwebs out of there. We'll see how it sounds without the muffler. So I'll take a little bit of time off camera and douche a couple of these parts off, get rid of the crap that is floating around on them. Put it back together and we'll fire it up. Try to anyway. See how well this works. Yeah, you didn't tell me. You didn't warn me. Guess I gotta put the valves in first, huh? About the easiest valve I ever had to go put in. No tools required. I don't know about valve adjustment. I think we're just going to go to, feel we have a little bit of float. That's a mile. It's still a mile. It's nothing, let's back it off just a hair. Or just a couple thou. You want me to grab a feeler gauge, don't you? I'm not gonna. We're gonna go by feel. We'll know soon enough. We go to pull it over and it has no compression. You know I got them a little too tight. I think this one I'm gonna have to back off to get the push rod in there anyway. So we're gonna lose the adjustment. We got to make sure that that's not on the high part of the cam. So I'm going to rock that over. Feel for when it pushes. Right there, and then it's off of it. All right. So we're in dwell. Is that what you call it? When you're off the lobe. Probably adjust it while it's running, you know. Run it till that it just starts missing, and then back it off. Call that good? A little too loose. I'll go till it doesn't rock. Too old to rock and roll. Let's go see how that spins. I'm holding on the plug wire. Woohoo! That one's got play. We'll go with that. We'll call that for a win. Yeah, throw a plug in to see we got compression. I cleaned up the bottom of those valves. I have a feeling that's what was, because it would have compression, no compression, correct? Compression, no compression. Looked like that crap that was on the intake valve. That feels pretty good. I bet you that crap on the intake valve was kind of gumming it up. It was kind of just that gummy material. Almost like a wax. I bet you that was kind of interfering with it. I'll throw the rest of it back together without the camera. Nothing's too good for my junkyard weed whacker. So a little mobile one. That's probably about it right there. It should be, that's how much I need to put in. It's got a little dipstick on it. But I am tilted a little downhill. I figure as long as that dipper is splashing in it, right? Let's go see. So that's level. Almost level. Yeah, a little more. You know I'm going to overflow it. I think we can call it there. I can see it. So what do we need? We need a spark plug. And I think we're good enough to run it. We don't have a throttle cable hooked up. Might be alright with that. The dark line was on top, right? We give her a couple of... We got no muffler on it. They kick you over to the other side so we have a little bit of room. Actually, I'll just rotate you. How's that? You see? No muffler. What do you think it's going to sound like? My guess is kind of like one of those little Cox airplanes. Let's go with no choke, see what we get. I'm going to grab the throttle. It's not hooked up. Make sure it's not full throttle. Nope. Is this the one I turned down the idle on? Don't remember. Let's choke her up. Turn her up. choke's off. It'll run pretty slow. That's gonna be about it right there. Yeah, it'll idle down pretty low though. I don't know if it's got any air fuel mix on it. I don't seem to remember seeing any. No. But not bad, it'll dial in pretty low. It's got the string hammer head on it spinning around too. A cool little engine. My dual bits decided to take a jump off the bench. What do you want to do next? Yeah, I agree. Let's go pull some of this stuff back and see if we can get the engine off of the shaft and see what it has for an output shaft. There's like a little tiny shaft that sticks out of it, or does a cable go into the center of it? I just don't know. You know, possibly just for future reference what we can do with these little engines, if anything. Yeah, that was the other one that we adjusted the throttle way down and took the grip apart on. I just took the one screw out of it here. It looks like it locks it into the metal. You'll be able to slide that down over way. Play around with it. Watch your eyeball. You wearing glasses? Did you squint? That should be enough. I'll go get the other cover down. I just took whatever screws out I could find. Did I get them all? Find out. So this black cover looks like it's screwed to this, and then the red cover is screwed to the motor. I kind of just took a whole bunch out. See if anything moves. Is the engine gonna fall off? Look at that. We don't have to take that off. It goes out the other way. Cool. That made life easier. Let's go get that one screw out of there. I thought it was gonna come apart differently. Had I known that. I like that it's got that shaft sticking out of there too. Keep the jokes to yourself. Gives us something to work with. Although the only problem is that's on the fan side of it also. There's nothing that comes out the other end, you know, there's no... So whatever you gotta do, you gotta work from this side. And you still have to incorporate a fan. Well, depends on what you use it on. I guess if you have it on something that moves, you can just air cool like a motorcycle. Come on. You done? Alright. Go pop that on over on the bench over there and take a look at it. It's like an issue I see is that the pull start part of it incorporates in there. I was a little more excited than really should, because all that's going to get covered by a pull start. You still need access to out here to drive a sprocket of some sort. I don't know how much of that you can whittle away. I don't think much of any. I don't. Maybe you could hollow it out and tap right in the center, have something come out further through it, because it's already set to have a cable go through it. I don't think you'd want to drive off of a cable, but you know, the center of the pull start is probably fairly hollow. Hard to see in there. Yeah, it's pretty open. These are the dogs that the pull start grabs on. The other thing, it says something. What does that say? Dan. D-A-N-A-D. What do you see there? What's the end of that? Make any sense? The guy signs his work when he puts them together. That doesn't look like a Chinese name to me. Alright. It probably weighs 2 pounds. So as far as, you know, 25 cc's, I don't know what, again, the horsepower, I'm going to guess it's maybe 1 horsepower. What can we do with it? Other than, you know, making it as a weed whacker. I'm sure they probably use them on, they look familiar. I don't know if they use the 4-strokes on those little, the scooters, you know, the little kick scooters with the handlebar that comes up. And they put the little gas engine on the back of them. I've seen a couple of them running around. They sound like they were 2-strokes when they're buzzing down the road. So I wonder, yeah, there's no access. There's nothing coming out this direction of the crank that we can use. Whatever we got to do, we got to work off of right there. And I don't know what it has for, you know, any kind of bearing support in there. Because right now the energy is just coming straight out. There's no side load on it. Gotta think about that. So not sure what's holding the rest of it together. Let's get these 3 screws out. See if we can get the pull start housing apart without twanging the spring. And just get an idea what the mass of it, and maybe we can kind of put that back over on the engine. Still feels like it's got a screw in it somewhere. It definitely does help if you take them all out. There we go. Yeah, let's go put that on the engine. Again, if at best it's probably going to be flush. Yeah, barely. Way in there. It is that far in. Yeah. So we'd either have to try to make something that comes that much further out, or I wonder if we can kind of get in between. Like if we cut a hole and cut a hole, we'll be able to put like a chain or a belt. That's gonna, no, because, yeah, because that's got to go right, that has to grab those cogs. That's all the way in. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, that's pretty much what we have for output, is just like that. I have to think about that one for a little while. Well, I think I've gone about as far as I wanted to go. I think we learned, or at least I did, what I wanted to learn, how these were put together, how they operate, and you know, how the output comes out of them, and the size of the package when it's all done, and how much they weigh, and just kind of get a general idea. And you know, I'll sleep on that for a couple months. Maybe we'll see it come back. Maybe we won't in another project. I just always kind of admired these little tiny engines. If we could figure out a way to, you know, tie several of them together, I'm sure there's a way. We could even possibly work with maybe the cable setup coming out of them and, you know, tying them together to one common jack shaft. Hard to say right now. I'm gonna do inline. No, nothing, because you can't access the back here. They're pretty cool though. All right, guys. With that, I think we're gonna go sign her off. I probably could take the cutting head off of that one, the string trimmer head rather, and put it on this one and make this one complete. That's really all it needs. Is that broken? No, it's just loose. Yeah, we could probably just swap that one right over to here and make this an operating unit again. Just put the plastics and everything right back on it. Not that I need another one, but all right, guys. With that, maybe we'll see it in the future. Put it into something. Maybe it's just gonna go up my stash and we'll never see it again. With that, I'm out. I'll see you soon. Bye.